Morning, everyone. Welcome to today's session of Focus on What Matters. I hope you are all doing well. I am PV De Leon, the brand manager of the One Core. The One Core is the top of the mind partner of leaders and organizations to help them focus on what matters. The One Core also offers one on one sessions, personal and corporate programs for continuous development. Again, for those of you who just joined us, welcome to today's session of Focus on What Matters. All right, before we begin, here are some house rules that we should all bear in mind. Next slide, please.
TV, let's begin.
Yes, coach.
All right.
Again for yeah, again for those who just joined us, welcome to today's session of Focus on What Matters. So, before we begin, here are some house rules that we should all bear in mind. Right there. Okay, we are encouraging everyone to please mute your mic to avoid any interruptions. And again, if you're comfortable, we are also encouraging everyone to please turn on your camera for us to have conversation in a fun, insightful, and productive interaction. Turn off or silence your phone if you aren't using it to call in. Please use earphones to ensure privacy and intimacy of the session. We are also encouraging everyone to please prepare a notebook and a pen with you. If you're calling in on your phone, do not work on other projects on your computer to stay focused on the session. If you're connecting on your computer, we ask you to close down all the other applications and browser window to eliminate notification. Please remember to find yourself a comfortable space that is conducive for calls and where you can freely express yourself without any distraction. And lastly, when you wanted to ask questions, share insights, just go to the chat box and write down privately your questions and message to Coach Pia because we'll be having a Q&A before we end the session. Next slide. Yeah. And it's our 11th anniversary, and as a way of giving thanks, we have a mini giveaway. For the mechanics, you just have to share a picture of the session with the hashtag Focus on What Matters. That's capital FOWM and or hashtag one. You may look at the hashtags on your screen right now, tag us on our social media accounts, and have a chance to win exciting prizes like Strengths Conference free seats, Focus on What Matters book, Searching for the Hero Within book, and Neck Pillow. So just a brief of a background about Coach Pia. Coach Pia is the founder of the Strengths Philippines, an accredited master coach, ASEAN head of the International Institute of Coaching and Mentoring, 20 years of coaching experience, author of 2 books, and a graduate of Harvard Business School. She is the leading life coach favored by country's chief executive and key social influencers. She has continued to work with clients searching for the deeper purpose and meaning in life through her company, The One Core. If you need someone to talk to, One Core is offering online individual coaching sessions to help you achieve clarity amidst the challenges we face. We can assure you that all One Core coaches are internationally certified. For sign-ups, you can visit our social media accounts or easily message us on Facebook and Instagram. For our flagship programs, we have Focus on What Matters. This course actually aims to equip individuals with clarity framework to enable them to maximize strength, address challenges, and make sound decisions. And we have Focus on Your Strengths. This is a unique program because it utilizes the tools developed exclusively by Gallup. And we all know that Coach Pia is the founder of Strengths Movement in the Philippines. And so we are able to integrate the Gallup tools with the One Core principles to maximize the impact of both tools and principles that we follow. And next, we have a program called Focus on You, which is really building human-centric workplaces with looking at the organization, the system and the process, and the individual approach that we do per employee. And then we have Leading with Clarity, equipping managers with the coaching tools to help them improve their management styles for their people, giving them a coaching approach to management. This is a group session of or workshop for manager or executives. And the other one, which is more intensive, is the intensive coaching course, which we are really developed in-house coaches for them to act as professional or performance coaches in the organization. And lastly, we have Torch. It is a personal development workshops for kids and teens, which run every summer. We believe that clarity hopefully begins even before they grow. We want to institutionalize the clarity principles to people as young as teenagers so that when they grow up, they are prepared and more equipped to make better life decisions.
Hello, good morning! Hello, good morning sa inyo! My name is Coach Bia and it is 10:09 in the morning on a Thursday morning. Hello, Coach Mon! Hello! Sino ba mga kilala ko dito? Tinitingnan ko ang mga You see, hello, Clarissa. I am not able to see everyone on one screen. We wanted to make sure that the group doesn't get big, so we closed registration as soon as we could. The reason is because one course all about quality over quantity. And you'll see that real in the conversations. Hello, Myra. Ang ganda ng background mo. Sa ka ba nakaupo, Myra? Parang virtual background ba yan? Yan. Hello, Carlo. Oh, si Carlo nag-iingat. Okay, very good. I want to make sure that we really maximize our time. Hello, Myra. I can see you again. Ayan, si Myra. For those who aren't able, Dina, hello, I can see you. Yan. For those who aren't able to open their videos, we totally understand. We just want to make sure that there's a simulation of magkakasama tayo sa isang kwarto dahil 6 months na po. Ay, Diyos ko. 6 months na po itong quarantine. Sino bang may akala? Hello, how do I pronounce yourself? Rajed or Rahed?
Rajed, ma'am.
Rajed, hello. Hello, Rajed. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. We just have a short amount of time. That's why PB so generously mentioned, please have a notebook, a journal, or take shots of our PowerPoint so that talagang sulit merong mababalikan, something that you can go back to even after our few minutes together. Hello, Jen. I can see you. Nice to meet you, Jen. Ayan. So again, you can take screenshots all the time para marami kayong ma-share rin sa mga tao. We want to make sure that the purpose of OneCore, which is to help people focus on what matters. This is a campaign that we have been championing for the past 11 years and we just celebrated our 11th year last month. Yay! Palakpakan naman dyan! You know the emoticon reaction there that says the palakpak? Okay, thank you very much. I need the love, guys! Naka-quarantine tayo, remember, 6 months na to. Okay. PB from Martin just gave you an introduction about OneCore. And again, 11 years ago, I put up OneCore. Inspiration behind this was my near-death experience in 2004 when I went to bed feeling well and I woke up, I couldn't breathe. My life already flashed before my eyes. And at that moment, when you know that only you go through that journey, it is a solo journey, only you. There's no one else there with you at that end of that tunnel. And as my life flashed before my eyes, I realized the investment in taking care of myself, making sure that the decisions that I had made thus far, because you don't know when your last moment will be, making sure that the decisions that I made thus far would be decisions made out of love, out of lightness, out of inspiration, and there would be no regrets. Unfortunately, in 2004, when I had that experience, I did have flashes of regrets. Since I survived that, I want to make sure, and I'm so passionate about, the company OneCore really champions focusing on what matters. So my second book is entitled Focus on What Matters. it really all begins with you. And you are all here because it is September already. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? It's been already, as you know, if we weren't in quarantine, the songs, Christmas songs would already be playing in the malls. And because it is September already, we still have to pay attention to the fact that the last quarter of the year, October, November, and December, in this unusual circumstance of quarantining, really adds added stress or heaviness that is so unusual on each of us individually. Hence, the inspiration behind this free talk. We want to make sure that for you and for the people around you, you are able to say, okay, the heaviness has been unusual. It is really unprecedented, the circumstance. Nonetheless, there are 5 tips that you can share to other people. We will share them with you in order to maximize the rest of the year. Hindi lang rest of the year, even beyond this year. True to the identity of One Core, I always say life is too short, so let's focus on what matters. So let's all take a deep breath. Hinga ng malalim, hinga ng malalim. And if you have any questions or comments, just put them on the chat box. I would love to spend time with some questions or comments. Okay, because even if we just have a short amount of time together, we want it to be interactive. Okay. Here are my 3 sons. And the reason why I show them is because there's always someone in your life who will benefit the most when you start committing to becoming the best version of you. So my eldest son is Marco, he's 20. Paolo is 17, and this is little Joshua. He's no longer little, he's 9 years old. Okay, he's 9 years old. And what I'd love to do is have you spend the time right now to think of the people in your life who will benefit the most if you commit to at least 1 or 2 of these 5 tips. Because if you become the best version of you, may makikinabang po dyan. Ito po ang litrato ng aking family. So this is my husband, Jim. We've been married 21 years na kami syempre, in December pa. 21 years na kami in December. December 1 is our anniversary. So who are the people in your life who will benefit the most if you commit to at least 1 or 2 of the tips that I will be sharing this morning? Because in these uncertain times, easily we can be overwhelmed with fear, anxiety, or even negativity. We have to be able to create structure that will align us with the personal success that we are called to, a purposefulness that we are called to. So let's do it. First thing, let's look beyond the gray clouds. Ano bang weather ninyo dyan ngayon? Parang sa akin dito medyo makulimlim. I'm in Quezon City. Medyo makulimlim siya. Was it the other day, the morning before yesterday, it was raining really strong. In the morning, I thought there was a storm, and then the rain stopped. So beyond just being in quarantine, you have the weather to contend with. And the weather really affects how people feel. The color of the sky, it affects how we feel. So since the struggle is so real, emotionally, psychologically, let's make sure that for today, in this moment, we will look beyond the gray clouds and make sure that gratefulness and hopefulness is our key. Again, gratefulness and hopefulness will be our keys. A lot of my tips today and the context of the tips will be coming from a class that we took at Harvard. Okay, see, Professor Ben Shahar, who's actually known as the happiness guru. A lot of people want to attend this class because it's really, there have been real studies around how people can stay positive in very stressful situations. And what better time to test these tips that just so happen to coincide with a lot of things that I speak about in my second book, Focus on What Matters. Well, nothing happens by chance. What better time to test these tips than a circumstance like now? Okay. So ito ako, ang aking prideful na picture nung nag-graduate ako sa Cambridge. Yan. Okay, first thing, who you are is who you think you are. So if you sleep with negativity in your mind before you go to bed, if there's criticism in your mind right now, if there is some frustration right now, and you are defining yourself by those frustrations, you become that. So it's so important that you take a step back, and as you see things that are happening in your life, you don't allow them to consume you. Okay? All of the thoughts that you have should not be consuming you. They should be in front of you. You should be able to observe them, but do not allow them to define you, especially if they are negative thoughts. Because no matter what it is, your mind is the most powerful tool right now. And we will be talking more about how to maximize that. Time flies, and time flies too fast. I bet all of you can remember the time where you were last March when it was announced that there will be a quarantine, because the concept of a quarantine, diba? What is that? It's so unheard of that there will be such a widely spread quarantine, not just in an area. I distinctly remember what I was doing. And I was on my way to the airport. In fact, I already did my online check-in when there was that buzz. It was a Friday, and there was that buzz about a quarantine. I already did my online check-in, guys. I was on my way to visit my relatives in Paris because my sister was celebrating her birthday there. And if I got on that plane, even despite the online check-in, if I got on that plane, I would have been stranded in Paris kasi nagsara lahat. Remember? Ay, buti na lang, I did not go. See, nothing happens by chance. So time flies so quickly. Let's zero in on what are the things that you can learn from you and your experience and your life's experience, okay? Not just your experience from the quarantine. That can get you through these very unusual focus on what matter times. Okay. So what's the fourth quarter of 2020 still going to be like for you? Let's go through 5 tips to focus on what matters, and not just for 2020, but you can use them beyond 2020 kasi 4 na buwan na lang nga. Bilis, September 3 na. So very fast. Okay, the first one is, remember that as a person who is so concerned about maximizing your purposefulness, you cannot give what you do not have. Ay, nako, tell yourself that you cannot give what you do not have. So, taking care of yourself is important. How do we suggest that this morning? You take care of yourself by being intentional. Be so intentional about what is best for you. Be so intentional about what is good for you that you are able to ask people for the love and support that you need. And this goes both ways. You are able to also ask people what is the love and support that they need from you. This is a champion question. This tip is life-changing. I cannot emphasize it enough because when you know what people need in order to feel your love and support, you don't waste time and energy. Just zero in on it. Pag sinabi niya, I need for you to spend time with me without the cell phone during meal times. Okay, it's so concrete. All you have to do is provide that, and that person will already feel love and support. And this is a conversation that I've been having with my children ever since my eldest child was 9 years old and he's already 20. This is an open conversation that is necessary for you as the leader, as the manager of your own life, to say that what you need and what in order to feel loved and supported is so important data, such important data that the people around you will benefit from knowing that. So ako, my love and support that I always need is space. Why? Kahit na extroverted akong ganito at natutuwa ako that I'm with you all this morning. I'm the only woman in the house. I have 3 sons and 1 husband. There's so much testosterone around me. So I really need a lot of space, personal space. Yan. So if it's that or something else, always go out of your way to say, this is how I will need your love and support. and it can be a weekly conversation, a monthly conversation. Always have this conversation. So I have a client of mine who says, you know, all the love and support that I need from you, and nakausap niya yung mga anak niya, all the love and support that I need from you right now is to just say thank you to me and be appreciative of the efforts that I put in. So when you say thank you, mom, it really means a lot to me already. Or kissing me goodnight. So maraming mga examples. And same with the people that you work with. How can you support them and become very clear about the conversation? Because studies have shown, going back to the Harvard studies, that when you are open and ask what you want and say what you think, it helps improve self-esteem. Okay, hinga tayo ng malalim. Because Filipinos are not in the habit of saying what they want and saying what they think. A lot of the time, we are martyrs in our culture. So we keep it to ourselves. This is not good for happiness. This is not good for meaningfulness and living a full life. Being left and remaining silent, studies have shown, creates sadness and hopelessness. Oh no. Those two terms are terms we want to stay away from. We don't want to be sad and we don't want to be lonely, because it is true that even if you have people around you, you can still be lonely. Hirap, no? That's the way it is. So without the ego in place, be open to telling people what is the love and support that you need. And ask them the same, what is the love and support that they need? Okay, wow. Okay, yan, tip ha. Then may questions ba about tip number 1? Oh, questions ba kayo about tip number 1? On a scale of 1 to 10, go to the chat box. 10 being, I can implement tip number 1, Pia, Coach Pia, I can do it. 0 being, I cannot implement it, Coach Pia, it's very hard. Can you give me a number? Go to the chat box, please. And 1 to 10. 10, you can implement it easily. 0 being mahirap. Tip number 1. Yan, all right. The numbers are coming in. Very good, very good. Yan. Pasado. Okay. You can tell me privately or you can share it to the whole group. Thank you. Some people privately have shared. It'll be a little bit difficult. Don't worry. If it's not tip number 1 that will work for you, choose from the other tips, because all of this will build momentum for us. Are you ready for tip number 2? Coach P, 10:26 na. Tip number 2 ka pa lang. Huwag kang mag-alala. Okay, mag-alala. We're managing our time well. Ayan. Okay, ready. Okay, tip number 2. Tip number 2 is, be clear about your non-negotiables. Be very clear about your non-negotiables and make sure you commit to them. Choosing what's best for you, we talked about it in tip number 1, which are what are the things that you should be intentional about. Tip number 2 is about committing to non-negotiables. And if you've ever read my or heard me talk before about the MICK from the Focus on What Matters book, it's really about creating that non-negotiable space for you. Because only you know what you need. An example of a non-negotiable that OneCore continues to advocate for is, you have to have a non-negotiable environment of positivity. And a non-negotiable environment with positive people. Oh no, how do we do this, Coach? What if the people we are with are not positive? What if the people, the environment we're in is not positive? Okay, you seek this out. You create it for yourself. If you've ever heard of a vision board, I think a lot of us have already heard of a vision board by now, because positive psychology has been around for quite some time. Your whole environment should be a vision board, not just one board. Everything around you should help you feel the meaningfulness and positivity. So this is one non-negotiable commitment that OneCore really advocates for. If there are no positive people in your home where you are right now, or you're by yourself, you have to seek out the positive people in your life. Create time, create opportunities, create events that you are able to talk to them, because it is a non-negotiable. Energy is infectious. So what you'd like to do is pause and always reflect on how your relationships are, and if the amount of time you've been spending with people, the positive people in your life, is enough. Because if it's not enough, you want to be spending more time. This is a non-negotiable. Commit to these things. So be intentional. Second is, make sure that you are clear about your non-negotiables and commit to them. Aside from being surrounded by your favorite people, if they're not in your home, again, marami tayong mga ways. Good thing there is social media now. If this happened back in the 80s, nako, everyone will really be so depressed because there's no one to talk to. It's so important that you make sure that the non-negotiable is really there. So there's a list, there's a schedule, you have calendaring for yourself, if not just for the things that are at work, calendar things that are non-negotiable for you. So let's take a pause right now. What I'm going to do very, very quickly in this pause, I'd want for you to write down at least 5 names. At least 5. Okay? Names of people who are so positive for you that you have to spend time with them. Yan. That you need to spend time with them. Okay, I'll give you 20 seconds. Sana more than 5 names. At least 5 names, ha? I'm counting. All right. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ayan, nag-stop na yung ating ringer. How many names are you able to write down? Go to the chat box. Go to the chat box. How many names were you able to write down? Yan, okay. Marami-rami. Okay, 6, 3. These are the people that you want to really create the time for. Ayan. And if not people that are in your circle right now, reach out to people that you haven't in a long time. You know, this is the thing about the quarantine. We have so much time. Think of the people that you have not talked to in a long time. And just last night, I remembered, marami akong inaanak. Diba? Marami tayong mga inaanak. Sa kasal, marami na akong inaanak. I just remembered, how are the parents of all of my inaanak? So, may naalala kong isa. And yung inaanak kong yon 23 na siya. So, kinamusta ko naman yung magulang niya. Okay. Some are positive, sometimes negative, sometimes just human. Okay. Myra, hindi ko alam kung yung NKKLK. What does that mean? Paki-educate ako, Myra. Nakakaloka. Gusto ko yun na mahirap kasi spell. Okay, mahirap kasi spell ang nakakaloka. NKKL. I love it. Learn something new every day. Okay, so these positive people, please go out of your way after this session to tell them that they are positive energy for you, that they are positive inspirations for you, because I would not wish this on anyone. My near-death experience in 2004, one of those greatest regrets, and buti na lang I survived that, is that what if the people in my life who are so important to me do not know how important they are to me? That would be it was such a great regret. And good thing I survived that, so I still have a chance. So I always make sure that the important people to me know how important they are to me. Okay. Are you ready for the next tip? Okay. Next tip. I'm looking at my time. Okay, meron pa akong pwedeng i-share dun sa sa second tip na isang point. All right. Because we said that pausing being committed, right? Being committed to our non-negotiables means being surrounded by positivity, positive environments, positive people. Another thing that is so important to be committed to is, based on studies, you've heard this so much before, and this cannot be emphasized enough. Being grateful really shaves heaviness and makes us the best version of ourselves. Celebrating what we have versus what we don't have really makes the day and moments and struggles and issues more, I don't want to use the word na more bearable lang because plain and simply, you're able to ease through them and not be affected personally by them. Negative issues that usually people take so personally, if gratitude is at the forefront, makes us see those negative experiences as an opportunity to really give that positivity rather than become selfish and more concerned about our own welfare. Oo. May binabasa lang ako sa chat. Yan. So, kung meron kayong 5 tao na at least sana na you can be thankful for, they give you some of that love, some of that light, that positivity, more than just the people. There are many things that we can be grateful for. Okay, maganda pa rin tong opportunity. I will ask you to, again, 20 seconds lang. 20 seconds lang naman. List down what you can be grateful for. List down. Ready? 20 seconds. Gugulat kayo how long 20 seconds is. Baka marami kayong masulat. What can you be grateful for? Mm-hmm. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ayan. We would love to hear some of your sharing of what you're grateful for. Dito tayo sa chat box. Okay. Merong mga nag-share. Giancarlo says, family, employment, friends, being able to do the things that I love most. Wow. How nice naman that you are able to do that even if you're quarantined like us. Things that I love the most. Oh, simple joys. I love that. Another one said, grateful that me and my family are healthy and I still have my job. Yes. Every gising is a blessing. Sabi ni JC. Every gising is... Vina says, my hope is in Jesus. Thank you, Vina. Joe says, family health means time and friends. And then another one said, life, work, friends, health. Yan. Okay, yes. And then, sunrise, smiles, prayer time, family, friends, work, health, coffee, nature, sunset. Yan, and the list can go on and on. Another one says, work and friends. Yan. There's so much to be grateful for. And the reason why we want to make sure that that tip is also ingrained in us, it becomes a commitment. Not just the fact that you will be grateful, because you've heard that before. But make it a commitment to be grateful. Yan. What else does the study say? So much that we can learn from. New perspectives that we can have. What are some new perspectives we can have about ourselves? Given the fact that the quarantine has provided so much time. We have so much time on our hands. I don't know how many more times I can fix my closet because there's really so much time that usually is on the road in the metropolis traffic. Natanggal na yon. Now that we have time in our hands, what are these new perspectives? And what I'm going to be sharing, I hope will allow you to break out of your comfort zone, because what is learning if it's not going to break us out of our comfort zone? Let's break out of our comfort zone a little bit. Okay ba? Let's do this. The new perspective is tip number 3. Studies have shown that if you go out of your way to feel attractive, not feel beautiful, not feel handsome, But to feel attractive, it's so specific that it blew my mind away when this came out. 70% of people say they feel happier when they think they look good. Okay. What I love about this is really what I said about who you are is who you tell yourself you are. Tell yourself that you are not just good looking, but you are attractive. Kaya sinabi ko sa inyo, new perspectives. What is a learning session without new perspectives? Because being attractive and being attractive can be defined in many ways, okay? Kanya-kanya tayong definition. My definitions of being attractive would be feeling good about how I've fixed my hair, how I actually have cologne around me, even if you cannot smell me. I like my clothes. I dress up in clothes even if I'm always home. So whatever it is that makes you feel attractive, if it's mga suot-suot na accessories, if it's taking care of yourself, lotion, facial, and that's not just for women now. I know a lot of men love facial, mga lotion. Taking care of ourselves, feeling attractive will help us feel happier when we know we look good. So if in the past months you have not done this is already a study. Let's go out of our way to embrace this tip. Because I know a lot of the time it may be feeling weird a little bit. Attractive talaga yung term. It's not handsome, beautiful, but to be attractive. When I read this, talagang natawa ko. Which brings me to my next tip. Developing a sense of humor based on our on our study, developing a sense of humor, learning to laugh at yourself, especially when things don't go your way, is key to happiness. So if you take yourself too seriously and every time you make a mistake, you're hard on yourself, that is a road towards loneliness. It's a road towards sadness. So when someone you see is so self-critical, literally, you can see that they're so frustrated with themselves. Tell them there are two roads. You're choosing the road to be sad. If you won't develop a sense of humor and say, okay, I made a mistake, but that's all right. I made a mistake and I'll pick myself up and I'll dust myself off and say, okay, I won't make that mistake again. I'll try my best to avoid it. Even when you still make that mistake again, don't worry. Laugh it off again because that's part of life. Life has that way of making us become our best cheerleader, which is to support us. We have to learn how to support ourselves every time we don't meet our own expectations. This is really a very important role. Okay, very important role that we play with ourselves to develop that sense of humor and laughing things off. Ayan na. Ayan na. Okay. Wow. On a scale of 1 to 10, ganyan ulit tayo, please, ha? Give me a number. Being able to laugh things off, having that sense of humor, watching comedy, being fond of yourself because you know that you shouldn't be taking yourself so seriously. On a scale of 1 to 10, write it on the chat box to me or to others. Ayan. Thank you. Ayan, may mga mas mababa ng content na nagbibigay sa akin ng private messages. Okay. I have also a tip for you for the people around you who may not have as high scores as you because they're not so light-hearted as you want them to be. Okay, my tip is this, that a key to an indicator of someone who has to deal with some pride issues is if they're not able to have sense of humor about their own life. So they don't know it. They don't know it. And I'm sure no one in this life wants to choose pride over humility. Wala na akong kilala na nagsasabing, I'd rather be proud than humble. They don't say that out loud, right? But if you're not able to laugh at yourself, those are signs of pride. Oh, naku! So if you say it that way, mapapaisip sila, do I want to be proud or do I want to be happy? Because happiness means really developing that sense of humor about life. 10:43. Okay. Last tip, and then I will go to questions because I can see that there are some questions that are coming up. Studies have shown this, and I'm not just showing this because I used to be a theology professor. Right? My first job was I was a theology professor at the Ateneo. Studies have shown that people who fervently believe in a God really get through life with more happiness. People who believe in a God really get through pressure, times of crisis and conflict with an ease compared to people who do not believe in a God. And this was so interesting for me because I didn't know that data has shown this, that spirituality really adds value to a person's resilience and perseverance in life. Knowing that there is a creator out there who can really be the one to take care adds a load off versus people who do not believe in a God. Oh, so interesting. And when you put it that way, there is a real utilitarian, there is a need, there is a necessity for belief. So that at times when you need to really focus on what matters, a belief of someone greater than you, a spirit greater than yours, adds ease. Oh, I didn't know that there were studies around that. And that's tip number 5 for this morning. So what are the 5 tips? Be intentional. Communicate love and support. Ask for love and support from others and ask them how you can love and support them. Number 2, make sure you stay committed to your non-negotiables. Number 3, feel attractive. Oh, see, I said we have to break out of our comfort zones. Feel attractive. Number 4, develop a sense of humor. Make sure that you all stick to that sense of humor. And number 5, believe in a God. Okay. So I would love now to have opportunities to answer questions. And while you're messaging me, you can address the questions to the group if you wish, or just private message me. What are your questions? I would love for PB to make some announcements while we are waiting, okay? Because nothing happens by chance and everything happens for a reason. So I'd really like for us to spend some time, if you have some questions about certain people in your life or circumstance that you're going through. You can put the questions in the box, or you can also open your mic and ask me a question if you feel that you're comfortable to answer the question, or just chat with me on the chat box. Okay. All right. So PB, I will just turn on your slides and then, and then we will wait for the questions to come in.
Okay, Coach, thank you. We are encouraging everyone to answer the QR code that you are currently seeing on your screen right now, and have a chance to win a signed copy of the book, Focus on What Matters. Winners will be announced on our social media accounts, so be sure to follow us. You may take a screenshot of the QR code now, and you may answer it later, or we'll also email it to you. We thank you in advance for your comments and suggestions, and we assure you that each will be given consideration so the future events will be more successful. So take a screenshot right now to have a chance to win a signed copy of the book. And there's our 2 books, Focus on What Matters and Searching for the Hero Within. Focus on what matters are available on Amazon, fully booked, national bookstores, and Milk and Honey. So there were some stores, yeah, and there you go. And we have our special offer, of course, in celebration of our anniversary. We bring you these special offers to help you achieve personal and professional clarity amidst the challenges we face. We present you Tulong para sa Kabataan, a personalized coaching service that allows the client to achieve a short-term professional or personal goal under the supervision of a certified life coach. Individuals receive more specific feedback and are provided with skills that are more suitable for personal situations. So all proceeds will be donated to the fundraising efforts to provide learning equipments for our students. We hope to provide you not and the best. We wish to explore you the new heights this year. And then you may follow us on our social media accounts. Next slide. Yeah. So please check our social media accounts as we reveal our exciting events, videos, and offers, and also to keep you updated with our next public runs. We also share insightful videos that will surely help you. You may easily message us in Coach Pia's Facebook page or the One Core Facebook page.
Aha. We have to give the PowerPoint a little bit more time because nag-ano na siya. Nag-isip na siya. Marami na
Yeah,
kasi
but the
siya.
but the One Core face the One Core Facebook page, you may easily search it as the One Core, and Coach Pia Facebook page, Coach Pia Acevedo. So you can easily message us there, and while you're at it, you can view our services. We also have a YouTube account. So our YouTube account is the One Core channel without space. So you can binge watch our videos as we talk about our lives during the quarantine period. As we all know, the coronavirus pandemic may be profoundly frustrating. So it also gives us the chance to take note of the things we usually take for granted. So you can learn more about that on our YouTube account. So yeah, we'll email you our links para mas accessible for all of you guys.
Yes,
Thanks, Coach.
okay. Thank you. And while I am reloading the PowerPoint, ayan, kasi nag-isip na siya. Okay, while I'm reloading that, I have a question. Okay, let's answer the question here. And I would love for you all also to please message me if you have a question. Okay. The question is, okay, how do I know that I am depressed or someone around me is depressed? I always get this question. So it's nice to be able to put it in perspective. The indicators of real depression would be if someone is no longer functioning normally, the normal functioning of a day. So eating, taking care of themselves, going through several tasks. If they're not able to do that, then there are already signs of depression. Then there is a spectrum of that depression. There is a spectrum. You'd like to make sure that one thing is always take seriously if someone's saying that they're not feeling well. So if they're not feeling well and you can see that they are isolating themselves and they're not being honest with you about their feelings, then there is already there some traces of depression. You don't want that to spiral. You want to be able to provide them a safe space to share. So either provide a third party, someone that they is not part of the family that they will want to open up to. One Core has professional coaches, or it can be a mentor, or someone from school, a teacher. We do not recommend that whoever it is goes to a peer. Kasi if the person is lost and then they share to friends, sharing to friends is okay, but it serves a different purpose. Sharing to friends is more companionship and not feeling alone. If you're trying to find strategies to improve, we really recommend you to see a professional in order to erase or diffuse any hesitations or any questions about being depressed or not. Because depression is real and we can come in and out of depression. There is a comment here. Thanks, Coach Pia, for sharing your wisdom on One Core. Ayan, okay. There is another comment here. Thank you, JC. Also appreciate so much that you've spent time with us this morning. Okay. Regarding tip number 4, the question is, I have observed that Pinoys use humor to avoid responsibility if they make a mistake. How can you balance developing humor without taking away the gravity of the matter? Okay, thank you very much for that question. It is true that sometimes in our culture, people are not taking them responsibility so seriously. So it's always humor. In order to make sure that you enhance the transformation of the individual, remember, you cannot give what you do not have. So if that person has a tendency to trivialize what has happened, so tawa na lang siya ng tawa without really looking at the lesson behind it, you would want to do two things. One is, first, respect that they have their own pace and their own timing. Because that's one of the real strong beliefs of One Core. We believe that everyone has their own pace. So please do not put it upon yourself as the person who can see, kasi you can see na sana they're gonna learn it na, no? Do not make it your burden to transform them, as everyone has their own pace, their own time. So the example I like to give there is, one of my clients says, Coach Pia, yung aking in-laws, sister-in-law niya, I'm really not getting along with her. She's doing this and that, and I know it's not good for her, it's not good for our family, ganyan. So it's very clear. I just tell her, okay, do not absorb what that person has not learned, because now if you're so frustrated about what someone else has not learned, it takes away your own energy, which is not necessary, because what they have not learned should not affect your contentment or your peace of mind or your own meaningfulness and purposefulness. So sinabi ko, it's okay if your in-laws have not learned it. They just not have had the time. So release yourself from the responsibility of them having to learn something. Okay? Because people have their own process. Process niya yon. Let that person have their own process. Kahit alam mo na kailangan may matutunan siya doon. Okay? I hope that helps. So if people don't have a sense of humor, process niya yon. Okay? But tell them that, alam mo, there's more to it than that. Sabihin mo, I think there's more to this situation than laughing it off. Pero proseso niya yan. Pare, or, kaibigan, meron pang mapupulo dyan, wag mo lang pagtawanan. Okay? And then they have their own timing. Next question. Social media particularly, FB is recently being flooded with grief. Significant people dying almost every day. How can we help them alleviate their feeling of loss and grief? Okay, first things first, for those who are here and for everyone that has been in front of me in the past months, I really recommend do not immerse yourself in social media. I know that you probably found us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or email, but above the news, because the news really is full of negativity, unfortunately, and heaviness. You don't want to be taking that in your DNA, and every cell in your body is feeling that stress. I would like for you to do, please begin with tip number 1, which is take care of yourself first. Help yourself distance and get that space from the negativity first before you can think about alleviating the grief of others. And do the same. Ask them to not use their social media as much. I know that these sessions are different. It's a virtual learning session, okay? But using social media just to be browsing through the news, it's different. Please share with them the tips that we have. So make sure that they commit to themselves. That's number 2. Make sure that they are always grateful and they surround themselves with positive people. And then if they need that re-energizing about believing in something, a greater power beyond them, please advocate for that. That is a good way to help them. Okay, someone has to leave. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Vina. It was my pleasure to have you this morning. Okay, thank you, Myra. Si Myra, makikita ko yung face mo. Ikaw yung nasa harap ko ngayon. And then, okay. Coach Pia, thank you so much for these essential lessons. Okay, I really know, guys, when we decided to do this session, and and say that we'll have a small group because I'm not really fond of giving 1 hour sessions only because I always want to spend a lot of time with people. Nothing happens by chance. Everything happens for a reason. And if you've spent a few moments with us here on this Thursday morning, that means that there's something inside you that's really searching for something more. The positive energy that One Core continues to provide, that is our commitment to you. Please stay in touch with us. Here are the 5 tips again. And yeah. And Clarissa is saying that I'm so excited to share and apply what I've learned from the sessions today. Thank you. Remember to tag us, hashtag focus on what matters, hashtag One Core, or hashtag Coach Pia. Be intentional, have non-negotiables, feel attractive, in yung term. Develop a sense of your humor and believe in a God. Nothing happens by chance. Everything happens for a reason. Remember, life is too short, so let's focus on what matters. Life is too short, so let's focus on what matters. Kaya nga, September na. Okay? Thank you, everybody! 10:59, we started. Okay? And we're ending on time. Remember, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Bye. Bye.